Thanks for that, Kath. Our next speaker is John Woodcock, who's talking about the best route to change as a project. So maybe he's going to tell us how we can change and get rid of the patriarchy by doing a project. I don't know, we'll find out.
That will be the subject of my next talk. Tonight, I'm going to talk in general terms about projects and why projects are so great. And I thought as an example, I'd talk about rebuilding the Liverpool overhead railway. What I'm going to talk about is not just about the Liverpool overhead railway. If you've got like an art thing that you're setting up, or you're going to do a performance, or maybe run a cafe, they're all projects. So the kind of things I'm going to mention will be relevant to whatever you want to do. So let's have a look at why you want to do a project at all. That's the sort of fundamental question you have to ask yourself. What's the outcome that we want from doing what we want to do? So we've got some examples here about why building the overhead would be a great idea. But in order to achieve that outcome, you've got to create some kind of output, all right? The stuff that enables you to do the outcome. So obviously with the overhead, it's the trains, the tractor signals and all that business. And to create the output, you need a project. The best way to create your output is going to be a project. How we find and organise and manage the time, the money, the resources, pump up the support we need and maintain the support we need throughout the project. And we've got to be able to measure how well we've done. So we've got to design the project in a way so we've got things that we can check off at the end and say, did we do it? And that's what benefits are all about, measurement. Now we need to talk about the people, the stakeholders around the project, and they are basically anybody who's got any interest in what we're doing at all. The people, the press, the politicians, the passengers in this case, and there are going to be some of them who've got a lot of power, and they're not all going to be on our side. So what we want to do is try and get the ones who are anti what we're doing on our side by really getting inside what they could personally get out of the project, which might be more about ego. And we need to involve the end users as well, because those people who might be the operators or the passengers or the technicians of the overhead, for example, can really help us to make sure we design it right, we build it right, we test it right, it works right. And of course, the project will be delivered by people. So get yourself a project manager who's done something like this before, knows what they're doing, has the right expertise, and pick a great team. Get the best people you can, because they will make it happen. But in all of this, what we really need to do is think slowly. Spend loads of time thinking what we're doing, get all that sorted out, so when we move quickly. Get it built quickly. And that means planning, planning, planning. Resolve the big questions, deciding exactly what we're going to do, designing it in a way that we can manage it as we're doing it, and proving to those powerful stakeholders, those decision makers, that we're serious about what we're doing. And the big question for them particularly is this the best use that can be made right now of the time, the money, the resources that we can gather together? And we must also focus on success. So much about projects is all sort of about failure, how they go wrong. But have a really successful mindset all the way through and drive to the success and the outcome that we want. We need to think about what needs to be in the output, the requirements. And that's about trying to get the minimum that we need in order to achieve the outcome. You know, no bells and whistles, no fancy architecture we don't need. We have to think about the hard bits as well. What parts of this project are going to be especially tricky for us to do that we might need special help and skills to have? So with something like the overhead, it would be maintaining political support. That's going to be really, really tough. And then there are going to be risks as well. What could possibly go wrong as we're going along with all of this stuff? So can we design those out of the project? Or if we can't, then can we mitigate them in some way? And if they're real biggies, can we have plans to deal with them if they actually occur? And of course, be zero heroes. Have a sustainable project that leads to a sustainable output that gives us a sustainable outcome. That's very much got to be our aim. And to sum up, really, we have to make sure that our project makes sense, that it's worth doing, it's realistic, it's achievable, and we can manage it through thick and thin, because stuff will go wrong. And always keep our eye on the outcome, what we're really trying to achieve. So that at the end, when we open the overhead or the art show or whatever it is, everybody goes, wow, what a project. Wow, what an output. Wow, what an outcome. Yeah!